What if I told you that one simple, cheeky question on live television would lead to one of the most powerful moments ever caught on camera? No scripts, no filters, just raw honesty from one of Hollywood's biggest stars. When Keanu Reeves sat down with Trevor Noah, no one expected the conversation to take such an emotional turn. But what he said that night stunned Trevor, brought the audience to their feet, and touched millions of hearts around the world. Stay with me, because this is one story you'll never forget. Trevor Noah had been trying to get Keanu Reeves on The Daily Show for months. It wasn't easy. Keanu was one of the busiest actors in Hollywood at the time. Between filming action-packed movies, attending charity events, and maintaining his famously low-key lifestyle, he rarely did talk shows. But Trevor was determined. He had admired Keanu for years, not just as an actor but as a human being, someone who had remained humble and kind despite decades of fame. Finally, after a long movie shoot wrapped up, Keanu agreed to appear on the show. The announcement alone sent waves of excitement through the audience. Social media buzzed with anticipation. Fans of both Keanu and The Daily Show were counting the days. The episode was promoted heavily. This was going to be one of the biggest interviews of the season. On the day of the taping, the studio was electric. The audience, a packed house of die-hard fans, could barely contain their excitement. Keanu's new movie, a highly anticipated action sequel, had been dominating the box office. His return as the stoic, unstoppable hero had everyone talking. But more than the movie, people wanted to see the man behind the roles. What was Keanu really like when the cameras weren't rolling on set? Backstage, Trevor was preparing. Known for his sharp humor, quick wit, and ability to connect with guests, he had a plan. He wanted this interview to be special, not too serious, not too promotional, but genuine, fun, and memorable. He had crafted a list of clever questions, sprinkled with light-hearted jokes, designed to draw out Keanu's warmth and perhaps get him to reveal stories fans had never heard. The stage was set. The cameras were ready. The crowd buzzed with energy. And Trevor, pacing lightly behind the curtain, was excited but calm. He had interviewed presidents, rock stars, and celebrities, but this one felt different. What he didn't know was that the moment Keanu stepped onto that stage, the interview would take a turn no one, not the producers, not the audience, not even Trevor himself, could have predicted. The show began as usual. Bright lights bathed the stage, the theme music played, and the audience's roaring applause filled the studio as Trevor Noah delivered his trademark opening monologue. He was in top form, effortlessly blending sharp political humor with clever observations about everyday life. The crowd responded with enthusiastic laughter, already primed for the night's big guest. And then came the moment everyone had been waiting for. Trevor's voice rose slightly as he announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Keanu Reeves." The studio erupted. The cheers were deafening, echoing through the room as Keanu strode onto the stage. Dressed in a simple black suit that perfectly matched his down-to-earth style, with his signature long hair falling naturally around his shoulders, Keanu smiled shyly and gave a small wave to the crowd. His humility, despite being one of the world's biggest stars, was instantly apparent, and the audience loved him for it. Trevor greeted Keanu warmly with a handshake and a friendly pat on the back. Both men settled into their chairs as the applause gradually died down. From the very first moments, it was clear the chemistry between them was natural. Trevor began with light-hearted questions about Keanu's new movie, poking fun in his usual witty style about how the actor seemed to be getting better with age, still pulling off jaw-dropping stunts on screen. Keanu chuckled softly, responding with his trademark modesty. They exchanged amusing anecdotes about martial arts training, Keanu describing grueling sessions with a smile, Trevor joking that he'd probably pull a muscle just watching those scenes. The conversation flowed easily, covering hilarious on-set mishaps, encounters with enthusiastic fans, and Keanu's love for motorcycles. The energy in the studio was vibrant, with waves of laughter and applause punctuating the discussion. Trevor skillfully kept the mood light and engaging, creating an atmosphere that felt more like a casual chat between friends than a formal interview. But then, Trevor leaned in slightly, with a mischievous twinkle in his eye. He decided to steer the conversation toward a more personal question, one that, while meant to be playful, might also reveal a side of Keanu the world rarely saw. The stage was set for a moment no one could have anticipated. Leaning forward with a cheeky smile, Trevor asked the question that would shift the entire mood of the interview. "Keanu, you've been famous for so long, And yet everyone says you're the nicest guy in Hollywood. But seriously, don't you ever just want to be selfish for once? It was meant as a light, playful jab, the kind of question designed to get a laugh and perhaps a funny response. The audience chuckled immediately, expecting Keanu to grin and toss back some humorous answer. But something unexpected happened. Keanu paused. The playful smile on his face softened, then faded slightly. His gaze dropped for a moment, his expression turning thoughtful, almost distant. The energy in the room shifted. For a few long seconds, there was no sound, no laughter, no whispers, just a curious hush as everyone instinctively sensed a deeper moment unfolding. Trevor, ever observant, noticed the change instantly. He leaned back slightly, giving Keanu space, choosing not to fill the silence with another joke. The cameras zoomed in gently on Keanu, capturing every nuance of his expression. Then Keanu finally spoke. His voice was calm, quiet, but carried a weight that seemed to resonate through the studio. "I've lost people I love," he began. His words hung in the air, simple yet profoundly moving. "I've seen how short life can be. And when you understand that, being selfish doesn't really make sense anymore." The room fell into a complete, almost reverent silence. It was as if every person present was holding their breath. You could have heard a pin drop in the studio. The mood had shifted entirely, from laughter and fun to a raw, honest human moment that no one had expected. Even Trevor looked momentarily stunned. The quick-witted host who always had a comeback, a joke, or a clever segue, now found himself silent, absorbing the depth of Keanu's response. He nodded slightly, the usual sparkle in his eyes replaced by genuine respect. This wasn't just another talk show anecdote, it was a glimpse into the real person behind the celebrity image. A moment of pure, unscripted truth that would stay with everyone who witnessed it. Keanu continued, his voice now carrying even more emotion, not loud, but full of quiet conviction that commanded the room's attention. "People remember how you make them feel," he said, pausing just long enough for the words to settle in. "They don't care about your fame, your money, your status. When you're gone, what remains is how kind you were. So, why waste time being selfish?" His tone was gentle but firm, as if speaking not only to Trevor or the audience, but to anyone who might hear these words later. For a moment, the entire studio seemed suspended in time. A long, powerful pause followed. No one moved. No one whispered. The earlier buzz of excitement was replaced by a profound stillness. Even those watching through cameras behind the scenes could feel it. Something rare had just happened, something beyond a typical celebrity interview. Trevor Noah, always quick with humor, always ready with a clever quip, now sat utterly silent. His trademark smile faded into something softer, more contemplative. His eyes widened just slightly as he absorbed the meaning behind Keanu's words. And then, with a slow, genuine nod, he acknowledged what had just been said, a deep sign of respect, more powerful than any spoken reply could have been in that moment. The audience, too, seemed to awaken gradually from the spell of Keanu's honesty. A single person began to clap. Then another. The soft applause built, slowly at first, hesitant, almost reverent, as though they didn't want to break the atmosphere of sincerity that had filled the room. But within seconds, the emotion swept through everyone, and the applause grew louder, stronger, until the entire studio was filled with it. One by one, audience members rose to their feet, turning the applause into a full standing ovation. It wasn't for the movie, or the fame, or the spectacle. It was for the human being they had just glimpsed. Even Trevor rose from his seat, crossed the stage to Keanu, and shook his hand firmly. Looking into his guest's eyes, Trevor spoke from the heart. "That was one of the most beautiful things ever said on this show." It was a moment neither the audience nor anyone watching at home would ever forget. That clip, just a few minutes long, was posted online the very next day by The Daily Show's team. No fancy edits, no dramatic music, just the raw, authentic moment between Keanu Reeves and Trevor Noah. What happened next was beyond anyone's expectations. Within hours, the clip had gone viral. It spread like wildfire across YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Millions of people around the world clicked to watch it. And once they did, they couldn't stop talking about it. The comment section quickly filled with heartfelt responses. People from every corner of the globe shared how Keanu's words had touched them deeply. Many admitted they had tears in their eyes after watching. Others wrote that it reminded them to value kindness, relationships, and life itself, things that often get lost in the rush of daily living. Keanu's moment of honesty didn't just trend, it resonated. Celebrities, influencers, and everyday viewers reposted the clip, praising Keanu for his sincerity and wisdom. News outlets picked it up, headlines reading, "Keanu Reeves stuns Trevor Noah with powerful words on life and kindness." In the show's long-running history, filled with countless interviews and unforgettable guests, this became one of its most shared and talked-about moments. And even today, when fans look back on that iconic interview, they don't recall the jokes, or even the blockbuster movie Keanu had come to promote. They remember that moment, the pure, heartfelt truth that Keanu shared with the world. A moment when one simple question led to a powerful reflection on life, love, and kindness. A moment when Keanu Reeves shocked Trevor Noah and left the entire world absolutely speechless. If this story touched you even a little, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more inspiring moments, and share this video with your friends. And as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.